Hello friends, thank you for coming back to my channel. This past week I just noticed something as I was reading some online, that most people will not seek help for mental illness. That is, they won't even get it checked out, and if they do get it checked out, they don't follow through with some sort of treatment plan. Why do people not want to tell someone about what they're going through when it could possibly provide help? I want to get into that in just a moment, but first I want to ask you, if you will, if you've not subscribed to my channel, if you would subscribe to it, I'd appreciate it. It won't cost you anything. You subscribe to it and then click the notifications bell so that whenever a new one is put out, generally about once a week, you will be made aware of it. And if you choose to watch it, the new one, you can. It will be available to you, come to you on your home page of YouTube. But thank you for those of you who have come by. Mental illness is real. I've been through it myself. There are a lot of different facets to deal with when it comes to mental illness. Many people have been robbed of their very lives for years and years, myself included, because of something I did not understand, that I learned later was a mental illness. But why wouldn't somebody want to find out what's going on with themselves? Why would they not want to seek help? Well, I want to talk about several reasons I think that define that, and you'll see them there on the thumbnail on my video there, so you'll know what they are after you quit watching the video. But there are several reasons, and the first one that I put on the list on the thumbnail image was shame and fear. Isn't it amazing how much we care what other people think about us? We're worried to death that somebody's not going to accept us, they're not going to like us, they're going to look down on us. And there is a stigma, and there is a discrimination against people that have mental illness. They're made fun of all the time. I mean, I was just flipping through the other night online in YouTube and find just the very off-the-cuff things people say that denigrates people with mental illness, and they don't think anything about it. Well, I've said before on these videos, and I'll say it again, there's nothing funny about it. If you don't have it, rejoice. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Don't worry about it. But there are people that do deal with it, and it's not a laughing matter to them. But people are fear of being thought of as weak and inadequate by seeking for help. Now, if you go back and look at my video, my 3-part video on what it's like, mental illness, in my episode, 3 episodes over those 3 videos, I talk about that. I talk about what I did, what I felt I needed to do. I started looking for answers because it was bothering me that bad. If you got something in your life, friend, that is bothering you, that will not go away, it's persistent and stays with you, it's something you need to check out. I'm going to go into that a little bit more in just a moment. But it is a serious matter, and there is help available for you. But we are fearful, and we're filled with shame to think that somebody might look down on us. We might appear weak and real small in somebody else's mind. And you have to ask yourself, is it worth that? Is it worth all that? There's another reason why people won't seek help. And again, as I said, most people will not seek help. But that reason is there's a limited awareness about mental illness. You get something going on with you, you get worried about something, or you're anxious about something, you feel like maybe there's something that's happened that's caused you to really go into a spell that, you feel like you're out of control and all of that. And then suddenly you say, yes, it's bad, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad what I'm going through. It'll go away. But then it continues and continues. People need to become aware and need to become educated about symptoms associated with mental illness. Do you feel a general darkness that hangs over you, and there be no apparent reason for it around you, but do you feel that? It will not go away. It stays with you. You mention something about it to somebody and they say, well, it's just everybody has a bad day. But yours is turning out to be every day. And it's something that is really troubling you, and it will not go away. That is not a symptom to ignore, my friend. You need to seek help for that. And if you want to go and see more about what I've had to say about how to get help, go back to my video. I have a video entitled How to Get Help. We'll go through step by step telling you what you can do in a logical order to find the answers for your problem and then subsequent treatment. How long has it been going on with you? I know when I first had the first episode at the age of 17, it had been going on since I was 17, and it had been going on for a year or so and still hadn't gone away. In your situation, has it improved at all? Now here's a real crucial question. Has your circumstance, your symptoms, led you to become involved with drugs and or alcohol? When I was 17, that's what led to my becoming involved in that. I never had done it. All my friends had already gone and were involved in all of that stuff, at least the alcohol part. I was the last one to go, though some thought I was the first one to go. But I was the last one to do that, and I don't think I even would have done it then had I not been going through this thing that was happening to me. Intrusive thoughts, the guilt, the fear, the dread, the shame. I mean, all of that going on eventually led to my becoming involved in those things. And I can tell you right now, it didn't make it any better. And if you've gotten involved in those things, you know very well by now that it's not helping you at all. In fact, it only serves to make it worse. It only serves to make it worse. My friend, it's best to seek help early, that you might possibly avoid going into something deeper to try to get a fix for it through drugs, alcohol, or something else. You don't realize, too, that mental illness can affect you long term in other parts of your body. It can lead to heart disease, heart problems, other kinds of problems as well, heart attack, stroke, high blood pressure. It can lead to all of those things if it's not addressed. If you're having problems, there's a way you can go about it. Find out what you can do by getting help. You don't have to tell the world if you don't want to that you're seeking help. But you're going to seek help regardless, because you realize that you cannot live like this anymore. Symptoms can eventually cripple you, and you don't want it to lead to a prolonged physical condition dealing with your heart or, your blood pressure, other parts of your body being affected by it, because the body is a unit. And when one part or several parts are affected, the rest of the body is affected in some way. So there's a limited awareness. You need to find out. Look online and look at some of these sites. There's all kinds of sites that talk about the symptoms that go along with various mental illnesses, and you might be able to see yourself in some of those. In fact, they have little tests on there you can take that can tell you if you have so many symptoms, this is what you might have. You might likely have it. So do that and take it from there to the next level. Go back and watch my video on how to get help. The third reason, not only is the shame and fear factor or the lack of awareness about the knowledge of the symptoms of mental illness, but another reason is that of the lack of trust. of a professional that might help you. I know it's embarrassing. Now, for me as a 17-year-old, I had gotten to the place where it was so bad, I just went in and divulged what I was going through. But you may be grown now, or you may be in your teen years as well, and you think, I just don't feel comfortable going in and talking about my life, what's going on with me in that personal, that kind of way, somebody I don't know. I mean, I cringe at the thought of that. Friend, listen. If you're uncomfortable sharing that, you've got to understand this. If you have real mental illness, there is no way you can go along and not divulge it to someone so that they may know and begin treatment for you. You have to know that a doctor, a psychiatrist, an MD, but a psychiatrist, will hold everything you say in confidence. He's not going out here and talk to anybody about it. And the fact is that he's already talked to several people probably that day before you came in that had the same similar symptoms or worse. We have to open up to them about what we're going through. And we might have to let a little bit about ourselves be known to him that we're not otherwise comfortable with. Divulge what's going on with you and find some trust. Trust in the doctor there. You don't have to tell anybody else about this, but the one who is going to diagnose your illness, you have got to be willing to talk to them. Now, you might feel more comfortable going in with somebody else, talking to the doctor about yourself with them there to comfort or to help you, encourage you, to give you support. A lot of doctors will allow that, and especially if it will make you more comfortable to share what's going on with you. Don't let a lack of trust hold you back from getting the care that you need. Remember that it's the same for all of us. We all have to trust somebody if we want to find an answer. And the only way I found answers and help and relief through medication is by going to a doctor and laying it all out for him. The full thing, everything about it, how it was. And then they began to help me. There is a final reason that people will not seek help for a mental illness problem, and it is hopelessness. You've been going through it long enough and it will not go away, and you've come to believe already that it's hopeless. I can't go to somebody else and talk about it because I know in my situation there's no hope for me. Well, friend, you don't know that. You might be surprised, and I've been surprised myself and realized that there are people that have been through it a lot worse than me, and I've had my fair share of it. To go in hopeless. If you remain hopeless, you're going to do a spiral going down. You're going to be diving into the ground eventually. It's going to take you out eventually. Some people who have gotten to that place, that's the last step before they decide to do something more drastic, something that's irreversible. You don't want to think it's hopeless, because when they explain to you what you're going through and why we have these illnesses, you'll begin to understand if there's a rational basis for it. It's a chemical imbalance in your brain. It's one of those things that mankind has been given, and it comes to people through genetics. People in their family have had it and dealt with it. But that's how it usually comes to us. We've inherited certain traits that gave us the tendency to have mental illness. Is it fair? No, it doesn't seem fair. But the fact is that we have it. We have to try to deal with it and get the help we need for it. There's a couple of other things here, other reasons that these are rational and worthy of consideration, reasons why people won't seek help. One is because where you're located, there may not be any mental health services available to you. You might have to drive a long way to get to a place where you could get help from that. The internet has been a great help to us, of course. You can go online. You can tell people. You can tell these at these websites. Tell them where you're from, what you're going through, and they can suggest a plan for you. Another thing I've noticed is that there's a lot of doctors that will see you on a Zoom meeting basis. In other words, you call them up. You say, "I live 400 miles from the closest mental health center, but I need to talk to somebody." They can actually set up to have a Zoom meeting with you across your computer or your iPad or whatever it may be, your tablet, and they can talk to you face to face just like I'm talking to you right now. And you can talk back to them. You can share those symptoms. They can prescribe medicine from where they are for you to try. And wouldn't that be better than trying and doing nothing? Surely that would be better than doing nothing. If you don't have the option of going to somewhere locally, consider doing that, my friend, because that could save your life. There are other kinds of barriers that are practical in nature, like you work and it's hard for you to get off, and it's hard for you to work your schedule to where you could go to a place that was open. At the time they are open, you're at work. Now, some of these places work later at night. I used to go to a psychiatrist that worked till, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, because some people had to work 9 to 5 or, a first shift work. But there are the problems with that. But people, employers, and people are being made more and more aware of significance of helping people with mental illness. If you've never watched one of my videos, let me tell you that the number one cause of disability in the world right now is mental illness. We've got to do all we can to help with it, because people are suffering tremendously from it. And they need to know that there are things that they can do to get help. Now that I'm older in life, I used to worry about, when I was earlier and 17 years old, I used to think about and sort of dread divulging things about myself to some man, counselor that didn't know me from Adam. But for me, I had to talk with somebody. And not only that, think of this. You can keep it private. I used to ride my 10-speed bike up to see a counselor when I was 17, and my family didn't even know about it. That's because I didn't tell them about it. They knew I'd been having some problems, but I didn't tell them about it. And it's your right to keep it private, or divulge it to people that you trust the most. But you don't have to tell anybody. But now that I'm older, I belong to the Lord now. It's made it so much easier, because I don't have to worry about what everybody else thinks. My friend, the Lord, better than anyone else, can set you free of fear like that, of other people and of this world and what people are going to think about you, what stigma is going to be attached to you. The Lord has set me free from so much of that. I realize that all I need is His approval. Let the rest think what they want. And I've mentioned several times in my videos that God is, to me, essential. Along with my medication and my periodic trips to the doctor, is what helps me make it through. It's what's helping me get on these videos and do what I'm doing right now, because I'm trying to help people who are going through what I've been through, because I know how much it hurts, how painful it is. So I hope you go back and watch some of my other videos and see this is my 14th video. And they're all about various facets of dealing with these illnesses, and what we should think about them and what we should know about them. And it could be very helpful to you as well. But don't forget to go back, go to my channel, go to the bottom right-hand part of your screen. There's a little red icon there that you can subscribe to my channel, so that you'll get these videos in the future. If you've been helped in any way by what I've said, there's a good chance that maybe some of the other videos I put out might help you as well. I deal with it honestly. I deal with it in the raw, because that's the only way to talk about this subject. It's very real. It's very painful and hurtful. But friend, hang in there. I'm still here, and so are you. And we can work on this together and find out what we can do. So I hope you won't have any of those reasons I talked about, that you'll be willing to go and seek help for yourself. And my prayers will be with you. Thank you so much for coming back by to see my videos. And may God bless you.